What's good, Revs fan? My name's Kris, and you're watching Revs Revolt. Today, we're talking Tajon Buchanan. That's right, that Canadian winger, right back, left back, something utility player. What are we doing with him? Let's talk about it. Yep, that's right. Your boy is back, at least for this week. I don't know how frequently I'll be putting these out as of right now. But I do plan on putting out a lot more content in the future. So please, let's get it out of the way right now. Subscribe if you want more Revs content. Leave a like on the video if you like hearing people talk correctly. And I will try to do that better as well. Before I get into Tajon Buchanan, I also wanted to mention that I have been co-hosting over at Revolution Recap Weekly, talking about the Revolution and all the matches that we've been seeing. We've had a lot of interviews going on this offseason, so go check it out. Speaking of interviews, we actually have one dropping this week. Depending on when this video comes out, it might already be out. There's going to be a link right here or here. I don't know where yet. I'll figure it out later. But go check out Revolution Recap. Check out the interview. It's with Revolution's social media lead, Willie Whitelaw, and it was such an exciting interview to get to talk to him. I'm going to put in a clip right now. The new thing to do is for people to go on and comment small club. And I don't understand it. But when I'm seeing people comment small club, all that tells me is that we're a big enough club to have to be attacked like that. I don't know if you see it the same way, but when I see it, I'm like, yeah, I guess, the Revs are making waves.
I do. I think, I don't really understand the references because there are a little bit of trolls under some, like I said, even like the follow backs, like on everything, or, it could be like the most serious statement we put out and there'll still be like follow back, which I totally get it. It's whatever. But yeah, the small club, totally. Yeah. I mean, if we were a small club, they wouldn't be saying that. So we are massive.
And just to catch more of that again, click this link right up here or somewhere else. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but it's going to be there somewhere. And then, of course, check out our latest podcast where we recap the Revolution's 2-1 win over Atlanta United. But enough of my sponsor, Revolution Recap. We're going to move in. Let's talk about Tajon. Tajon Buchanan. Where do we start? I guess maybe 2020 is a good point to go from. I know in Olympic Stadium versus Montreal, opening day 2020, Tajon Buchanan, with a chance to tie the game, heads it right off the post with a wide open net from 3 yards out, maybe less. And that kind of set the tone for his 2020. He had a rather unspectacular year. A lot of people were questioning why he was getting the minutes he was getting. Why was he being run out as much as he was? Not that it was a ton of runouts, but people were starting to ask the questions, is Tajon Buchanan worth the minutes that he's getting? And then the playoffs happened. And of course we had injuries. And Alex Butner missed the whole postseason basically with COVID. And then DeJuan Jones. I think it was DeJuan Jones. Now, don't correct me if I'm wrong. It was either DeJuan Jones that was injured or Brandon Bye that was injured. Either way, we needed a right back. And Tajon Buchanan slotted right in there. We had Teal Bunbury up on the left wing, Gustavo Bow on the right wing, and it just made sense. Tajon Buchanan is a talented player. Let's put him there. We don't really have anyone else that's going to fill that role. I guess maybe you could have said Polster could fill that role, but Polster has done very well for himself as of last year from the time that he was with the team in defensive midfield. So I think that he deserves to remain in that spot. Let's throw Tajon at right back. What's the worst that's going to happen? We're only facing Montreal again in a play-in game. But Tajon Buchanan really exploded onto the scene in the 2020 MLS Cup playoffs and really showed an explosive talent that maybe some people thought was there and maybe some people didn't think was ever going to come out of him. He has an undeniable raw talent for the game. And during that playoff run, Tajon was probably the biggest piece of the Revolution team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. It is a shame that maybe he didn't have a great performance in that game against Columbus. At the same time, you have to think Columbus was maybe starting to get the picture and game plan for Tajon Buchanan. And you can't blame him for not winning the game. We do have other players on the team, designated players, for instance, that should be scoring some more goals. I think we lost, 1-0? And if I remember correctly, we actually had a lot of chances in that game. So it was kind of a shame that we didn't win. And I believe there was even a Buxa header off the post near the end of the game to almost draw level. But I digress on that point. Let's keep going Tajon Buchanan. And now we're looking at this guy and we're thinking that we have a future star on our hands. And then we get knocked out of the playoffs and we're into the off season. So let's jump into the next piece, I guess, of this. And during the preseason, Tajon Buchanan is called up to Canada's U23 team for their Olympic qualifying. Unfortunately, Canada did not qualify for the Olympics. However, Tajon Buchanan was an integral part of their team and scored 2 goals in the opening match. I forget who it was that they played against. I don't have that up in front of me right now. But they were still impressive goals. I think his brace was scored within like 7 minutes or something stupid like that. And it's crazy to think that Tajon Buchanan went from being this fringe roster player for the Revolution to being an integral part of the Canadian U23 team on that Olympic qualifying run. But he did, and I think he deserved it. And he proved that he belonged there when he was there. He showed up. Maybe he could have done a bit more. Maybe after that first game, Canada was depending on him a bit too much. But he showed that he belonged to be there. And that brings us to this season. Coming into the season, I thought Tajon Buchanan was not going to be in the starting 11. And yet, opening week, he starts at left wing. Okay, granted, Arno Traustason was still in quarantine, and maybe Teal Bumber is not in the plans to be in the starting 11. Tajon Buchanan, fair enough. He's a very talented player. He deserves to be on the pitch. I don't like him at left wing. Plain and simple. I know he did have an assist, but I'm not a fan of Tajon Buchanan playing on the left-hand side. I like him in the middle. I think he's great on the right. Not on the left. Week 2 of the season, Arno Traustason's back. Tajon Buchanan is out of the 11. He did come in 82nd minute, something like that. And I think he logged 8 minutes, so maybe it wasn't quite 82nd, maybe 85th minute. So he got the last few minutes plus injury time. It wasn't an impact player. It was a 1-0 win over DC. It wasn't the biggest slot to come in. I think he came in and played right back. I could be wrong on that, though. And then this past week, Atlanta United, Gustavo Bo is injured, and Tajon Buchanan steps up. And I have to say, again, Tajon Buchanan is not in the starting 11 for me, naturally. As great of an athlete or as promising as a player as he is, I still don't want him in the starting 11. However, this match against Atlanta United, we saw Tajon Buchanan come in and play exceptional, I would say. Not fantastic, not great, but he was pretty good. No impact on the score sheet whatsoever. He went 73 minutes, which was fine. He did get replaced by Tommy McNamara, which really confused me. But the one thing that I noticed is that having Tajon Buchanan on the right wing really complemented Carles Gil. Having Tajon Buchanan at right wing allowed the Revolution to play their attacking style through Carles Gil, through the middle of the field. Nobody was forcing the ball to Gustavo Bo. As much as I enjoy watching Gustavo Bo on the pitch and his ability to really change a game at any minute, Tajon Buchanan taking Gustavo Bo out of the game essentially, or just filling that void or that space that Gustavo Bo was, really opened it up. Carles Gil had about 30 more touches than he does on average in this Atlanta game, because there was no Gustavo Bou that everyone was going to force the ball into. Instead, everyone's forcing the ball to Carles Gil. Where's Carles? Get him the ball. Where's Carles? He's over there. Get him the ball. Oh, Carles, he's 80 yards downfield. Not a problem. I'm going to send it to Mars, and the ball's going to come back down, and Carles is going to have the perfect touch and make defenders fall over. This is not a Carles Gil video, but in essence, every video is a Carles Gil appreciation video. But this is about Tajon Buchanan, and even though I don't think Tajon Buchanan necessarily has a spot in this 11 on paper, I think him being in the 11, while he has the talent and skill to definitely be there, also takes Gustavo Bou out of it and creates a lot more opportunities and a lot more chances for guys like Carles Gil and Adam Buxa. And maybe that's what this team needs. So, in essence, Tajon Buchanan, you are my right wing. I want Brandon Bye to still be the right back. Just so that's clear. Brandon Bye deserves that spot. Tajon Buchanan is still a liability defensively. Gustavo Bou, does he defend? Very rarely. So I think a defensive liability like Tajon, at least he tries. If he's not gonna win the defensive challenge, with Gustavo Bou, there wouldn't have even been a defensive challenge. So I think Tajon Buchanan has earned this spot by default. And I would like to see him go forward as the right wing and maybe develop and build a name for himself. And then maybe later this year, whether it's summer transfer window or after the season's over in the winter transfer window, get sold. Maybe the Revolution can make some money, sell him off to Europe, and then I don't know what we're going to do, because there's going to be a gaping hole at right wing, because I don't think Gustavo Bou is coming back after this season. I think everyone knows that he loves racing and he wants to get back there to finish his career, and he is at the end of his career or close to it. And if Tajon is also sold, that's going to be a big gap for the Revolution to fill. But we're just talking this season. Tajon Buchanan, I want him starting. Gustavo Bou, I want him coming off the bench as an impact player. I do not care if he's a designated player. I don't know if necessarily he deserves that designated player tag. And I know everyone's going to kill me because I'm a huge fan of Buxa. And Buxa didn't necessarily earn a designated player tag last year. But I'm still here saying that Buxa is a designated player. I get it. There's a little bit of inconsistencies there. But I have a bias towards Buxa, and let's just leave it at that. Gustavo Bou, I don't think is worthy of a designated player slot anymore. Tajon Buchanan, you are my right wing. I think I said that now 15 times in a row. So let's just wrap this video up then. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much again for sticking around this long. I appreciate it. Please drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Lets me know that you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. If you like the Revolution, you want more content, just hit that subscribe button. Doesn't hurt you, doesn't cost you anything. You can always unsubscribe. And that way, anytime I do release a new video, assuming I release more, and maybe I'll release some with some frequency in the future, but you'll get notified, or at least it'll be in your sub box. If you want to get notified, you can hit that bell too. I don't blame you if you don't hit it, because I don't hit the bell for anybody, but hit the bell. Why not? Just hit it. Just hit it. Just do it. But anyways, thank you so much again for sticking it out this long. You can also check me out over at Revolution Recap. I mentioned that in the beginning, but we just released a great podcast talking about the win over Atlanta United, and we also have an interview with Willie Whitelaw. That's definitely worth your time, and I highly recommend checking it out. Anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you next week, or the week after, or the week after, or the week after, or the week after. But someday, I don't know. Bye.